Yes, hello, my name is Otis Frizzell. I am New Zealand's fourth most loved B-grade celebrity. And you may know me from such shows as the award-winning Mo Show or the Bass FM breakfast show on the radio. I grew up in a fairly foodie family. My parents used to grow chilies and garlic in the garden when you couldn't buy sort of spices at the supermarket and stuff back in the 60s and 70s. You couldn't buy garlic in the supermarket, go figure. However, it is not me who is the kitchen alchemist in this relationship. This is my lovely wife, Sarah.
Hello. Oh, I'm echoing.
Sarah was brought up in a sort of strange sort of food flavour limbo just outside of Liverpool in England. She was raised on spam and chips, curry and chips, fish and chips, steak and chips, egg and chips, Finder's crispy pancakes and chips. And any vegetable she ate actually were pretty much cooked to the point of sludge and unseasoned. So she came to New Zealand and started to buy sort of fresh fish and cook with crisp vegetables and learn how to use spices and stuff. So when we met, she had started her path towards sort of learning about food, and I was actually the cook when we met, but she has far surpassed me in that role.
I did some pretty horrible.
She nearly killed me a few times, but she didn't quite get there. And it was at this time she realised that food could really be something far more than just sustenance or energy giving. It could bring love, it could bring emotion, it could get you addicted, it could excite you, it could change your life basically. So that is the real backstory to what we're doing now. It was Sarah's sort of food voyage of discovery. So that's what brings us to the Lucky Taco, where we are now. So hand it over.
Buenos dias feels appropriate as it's we've started a Mexican food truck. So yeah, I mean, what is it? I suppose I don't know whether you do know what it is. It's parked outside if you don't know what it is. And we brought it because we thought maybe after the talk, if you want to come and have a snoop inside, come and have a look. It's pretty swanky and nice. Clicker, please, Jade. So what is it? Yeah, that's it. And kind of where did the idea come from? So where did the idea come from? It came from these. You know, we were on our honeymoon in the States in 2011, and it was my first time in the States, and we were just kind of overwhelmed by all these awesome food trucks. And it wasn't just, dirty old roach coaches that you kind of think of. When we told our parents we were going to do this and I was going to quit my somewhat well-paid job in advertising to start a food truck, they were pretty horrified, But
my dad said, "What, like those guys that sell chips at the Speedway?" That was Dad's first reaction. It's like, "Dad, you're supposed to be a creative genius, and you can't think any further than that." He was like, "Really, just stand there while people sort of come up?" And it's like he wasn't sort of hip to the fact that these places are this whole crazy. There's people that are obsessed by it, and people that follow it, and they pick their favourite truck, and they follow them on Facebook and Twitter, and it's sort of like...
it's like a religion.
It's like a religion.
It is like a religion.
And that's part of what we're trying to get... as far as we know, we're like the first one to try and get people to think like they think in LA, and it's like, rather than... So, I went there yesterday and you weren't there. It's like, check Facebook, check Twitter. Our schedule is always there, so if we're not here... we might be there, and if we're not there, we might be doing a private function, so we can't be in two places at the same time.
Well, you guys are all hip to it, but man, I'm exasperated at the amount of times I've gone, check our website, please check Twitter, please check Facebook, and in this day and age, you think that was pretty normal, but it ain't. When people are like, oh, you weren't there, and it's like, there's only two of us, we're only, we need to sleep for at least 3 hours a night sometimes, and it's amazing, but people are starting to get hip to it, and we we update our schedule every Sunday night, like after the service. My limited WordPress knowledge, it's not easy. WordPress, who thinks that is not easy at all? But I can change the
WordPress
schedule.
WordPress is a lie.
It's not. I always phone my web guy and go, I can't do it, you know. But I can update the schedule and upload photos. That's all I can do. But yeah. So yeah, this is, you know, it's amazing, and we were like, wow. And that one there, the Morisco's Jalisco, was like the coolest one, and we ate the most amazing food from that truck. It was just mind-blowing. So that's what we're trying to recreate here. Well, yeah, it was our honeymoon. Back to the honeymoon. I was like...
So we went to LA and ate tacos out of these trucks, and it was funny because leading up to this time, Sarah was really, like I said, she was cooking this amazing food and people were coming around, and we'd started cooking tacos at home. In fact, I got a recipe from a friend who cooks for Lady Gaga and Madonna and stuff. He's a sort of international super chef. And I was like, have you got any good fish taco recipes? And he was like, oh, I can give you Lady Gaga's favourite. It's like, oh. But all he gave us was a list of ingredients, not how much. And so we tried it once and it was horrible. But then, well, I tried it once and I just sort of chucked it all together, and Sarah was like, no, yeah. A bit more of this, a bit less of that, and it was quite nice. People coming around, they're like, you know, you should make these for people. And it was just sowed that really small seed. And while we were at the sort of romantic chill out part of the honeymoon, it was sort of like, Sarah was, you know, she's like, you know, I'm just not happy in advertising. It's not really it's not my dream. It's not my passion. It's not what I want to do.
Though, I actually got made redundant just after we got married,
yeah,
which
that helped.
was shit. It was really shit. And but you know, if anyone has been made redundant, or if you ever do, it's the best thing that can ever happen to you, I think, in my opinion. And I went freelance, so that taught me to be independent. And I actually earned more money, and it was better. We saved up for 6 months to go on an awesome trip. Back to LA, back to Mexico, well, not back to Mexico, to Mexico, because when we were on our honeymoon, I was like, we should do this. We should really do this in New Zealand and build our own brand, because I was sick of building other people's, and that's how it began. Because I thought both of us together, combined forces, you know, could create something really special. And yeah, sometimes I know there's a lot of creative people here, and you know, we always say bottom drawer ideas, and there's so many bottom drawer ideas that never see the light of day. And you know, sometimes it's heartbreaking when you're doing all these good ideas for people and they get rejected, and people just, you know, it's heartbreaking. So it's like, right, that's it, go on, let's do this.
So we saved up for this trip, and we're like, well, if we're going to do tacos, we can't just have this one fish recipe that Lady Gaga likes, because that's sort of, it's bullshit. It's like we have to go to A, the home of food trucks, which is like LA, which is one of the homes of food trucks, and B, the home of the food of the gods. You know, go to Mexico and actually taste it. And so Sarah did some research, and we found a food blogger who was involved with a chef. And she did cooking courses in Mexico City. So we went to Mexico City, and
oh yeah, sorry,
yes.
Stop. Sorry.
So we went to Mexico City and did a cooking course, and got all this knowledge and brought it back home. And then it was like, well, it's time to shit or get off the pot. You know, we started telling people we were going to do it, and it's like, you know, are we really going to do it? How do we do it?
And yeah, the only way we know how. So this bit was the easy bit for us, because we're visual people, and you know, we were like, well, what are we going to call ourselves? What's it going to look like? You know, and we sat down. The shit one's mine, because Otis is a better drawer than me. But you know, we sat down and we started working this out, and
but like this here.
That actually is.
That's
that
the one
was me.
that made it to the end, and it's like, because we noticed there was trucks in LA that are sort of hand painted, and everything looks like it's done by a sort of drunken Mexican uncle. It's sort of a lot of masking with sellotape and stuff. Really, really basic, but this unself-conscious, beautiful type everywhere. And it's like the only way to really make it look like that is to just sort of do it. Stop trying so hard. So like, that was just a quick sketch, and I traced over this with a ruler, and it was like, shit, that's the look we want, you know. So it's funny, got there piece by piece.
That skull there, where Lucky kind of came from, is taken from a tablecloth that we've got actually, and now I've made it into an apron. So it's funny where we got our little reference from, and then you know, Otis stylized it, and then I vectorized it, and you know, it was actually not that long.
We sat down with books, laptops, and bits of paper, and just started drawing, and it took like 2 days to get from, and we were like, taco love. That was an idea we had from it. Thank
We
God
had
we
some-
didn't go with that.
we had some-
Horrible.
We had some bad names.
And then we started to go down the sort of the tattoo sort of route. And that's where Lucky came from, the dice and the cherries and Lady Luck and stuff. But then it sort of, that was feeling a little bit played out. There's a lot of sort of that that tattoo imagery. But the amazing thing is, after 2 days, we arrived at this, and I was like, well, I like it. And Sarah's like, well, I like it. And it's like, we're waiting for someone else to go, that's, make the writing bigger, or it just doesn't work. And we were waiting for a CD or a client to come in and go, no, it's not right. But we're sort of like, well, if we like it,
That's it. It's great.
we're done. We're done. Okay, but let's move on. It was an amazing creative epiphany. It's like,
liberating.
we
to
are the
kind of-
bosses.
yeah.
We're the designers. We're the CDs. So it was sort of like,
You're way harder on yourself, I suppose. But this bit, it wasn't that. It was fun and natural and easy. It was great. But it was funny. We sent it to our friends, whose valued opinion, and Otis' dad, and he, it was your dad that kind of. We were too kind of slick on the, and he was like, no, you need like a really kind of shitty you need like to break it down a little bit.
and Dad is, I don't know, Dad's a famous artist and very clever, typographical sort of wonder kid, and he's sort of, I said, can you break us down into a real naive, badly done the? So Dad did that. So that he got his hand on the logo, which was quite fun, actually.
Yeah, he did want to do some folk art on the truck, and we're like, nah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and a taco with legs,
It's
going,
like,
oh,
yeah.
hey, with the sombrero on, because he's got some really great reference on
He
that stuff.
does. Thanks, son. So yeah, this is just a bit of us going back to the States, back to Mexico. Sorry, we're a bit flitting to and from. And yeah, we went in Mexico. There was best fish tacos on earth. They weren't. But
They were actually, the funny thing is, we had these recipes. We went to Mexico to sort of elaborate or nail it, and it was sort of like this woman here, Ruth, is an amazing cook, and so we walked all over Mexico City, ate felt like hundreds of tacos, and basically these were our favourite flavours. We went back to her, went to a market, and we said, how do we make them? And she made them it literally was like. She made everything we wanted, but after all of that, we didn't change our fish taco recipe.
no,
We couldn't find a fish taco in Mexico that we liked more than the one we made at home.
it was hard to get. In fact, and it's funny, in Mexico, they just eat what's cheap and available. Like limes and avocados are so cheap. They're super duper expensive. So the $1 taco is just, it can't exist here. It's impossible. But we didn't eat fish until we got right to the coast, because of course that's easy to get fish. We ate lots of bizarre things. We ate sheep's scrotum tacos, which is called.
They were really good.
They were really good.
It was like bacon.
Like crispy bacon, but enough hot sauce, and you just forgot about it. But yeah, we ate tongue, tripe, balls. But we're not going to do that here. But I would like to do more authentic flavors once people trust us and like us, and then we can.
Yeah, bring them in, because like the tripe and onions was
good.
really, really good.
Great.
It's sort of like
It's really
tripe
good.
is just historically horrible, was really delicious. It was one of my favourites in Mexico. It's like, but you just got to get people over the line to try and taste it. So you
Yeah.
draw them in with organic
Pork.
pork and steak, and it's like try a little tripe, and they're
Bit of
like,
tripe.
talk them into it.
So yeah, we ate lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of tacos, and they were amazing. And so we learnt. We kind of, food memory. We kind of learnt that. We brought it home, and we adapted and twisted and tweaked, and then we have our recipes now. So we came home and we bought a truck. That is the truck before it became what it is. And
that was like the moment. That was like we bought a truck. All of a sudden, it's like, oh shit, we've actually bought a truck now. It's sort of.
It was real, and it was like shit. We've. Jay, can you flick for me, hon? So yeah, shit. Now we really had to do it, because we'd piped this thing for so long, and now we were like, wow, it's time to kind of put the wheels in motion.
And we told people. We stopped being private about it. We told people we're going to do it. So once you do that, you have to, or else you just look like you're full of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
My friends were telling me, 8 years in advertising, it's like, just sell the sizzle. And we were selling the sizzle because we didn't have anything else to sell, We just kept talking about it and telling people about it. And it's like, someone said, you're the greatest thing that didn't exist. There was nothing apart from a Facebook page, But yeah, I suppose you want to know what problems we've faced a lot, and we're still facing them every day. It's hard. It's harder than I ever imagined it could be. We have lots of meltdowns. I was saying to Eddie before, I had one yesterday. But you know, it's tough.
As long as we melt down at different times, the other person can support the other person. So we've got a sort of schedule of meltdowns.
It's yours next.
Yeah.
So what were the problems we faced? Barry. Now it's a bit obscure to say Barry, but Barry was the first guy that the truck was with, and he had it for 5 months and did nothing on it apart from cut a hole out the side. And every time we'd go and see him, he'd have like a fag hanging out of his mouth and there's shit everywhere, and there was nothing that had changed. We were like, Barry, like, what's going on, man? He's like, oh yeah, just give me 2 more weeks. Just give me 2 more weeks. And we were in a situation where we didn't really know either. This was all new to us. We were like, how long should this take? And maybe he just needs 3 weeks. And we come back in 3 weeks, not done. He's like, I've just got 6 weeks now, just 6 straight weeks, and it'll be finished. And it was 5 months later, and we had no truck.
During this time, it was the hottest, most epic summer that Auckland's ever had, and we sat there spending money on kitchen equipment, and every time we'd go and see him, but he'd do a small amount, and then we're like, well, we can't take the job from him now because he's got it, and it was
awful. It was
almost the wheels really did. The wheels nearly came off the project because we were just so far behind, and we were running out of money, and it was.
And we nearly had to take him to court, and it was awful. And then he actually did break his leg, even though I thought he did.
I was going round to his workshop with a baseball bat to break his legs, but he rang up and said, "I've broken my legs." So it was like, yeah. And he'd fallen down a bank, and so that was the impetus we needed really to just pick the job up from him and find someone else. And we did find someone else, and he was amazing and passionate and got into it immediately, and he really saw our vision, and he loved the pictures, and he was just, we went from a complete fucking idiot to a real brilliant genius.
Yep.
So even though we missed summer, which was heartbreaking, it was the best thing that could have happened because the guy that took the job on was brilliant. So it's one of those things. It's like,
thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. He's not here, but he hears us.
It is our new Kumu family, but yeah, he's amazing. Barry, first problem. Sorry, Barry, but you suck. The council. Wow, really hard. You know, no wonder there's not a lot of people doing this because you can't. It's not like the States where they have roaming zones and like, even though that comes with its own load of problems, you know, another story. But the council are hard. They don't make it easy. And, you know, we spent 5 months trying to get our spot on Ponsonby Road, and that's even a private car park. They nearly made us pay $1,800 just to go through another 2 months of resource consent. You just need an in with someone, which we got, which was fantastic. But the council are hard.
They don't want to help. It's
No.
it's like, we thought, you know, in our minds it's like, oh, we're bringing something vibrant to the city, something that like is all over the States. It's happening in Melbourne and Sydney. It's like we're doing something cool that surely this is about the biggest little city and all that kind of stuff. But it was just like no. It's like it costs $1,800 just to ask, and if they say no, you can't transfer that $1,800 to the next question. You have to pay $1,800 again just to ask again for them to say no. It's like this weird. It's like it literally costs $1,800 for them to say no.
Yeah.
And that's all they said to us. It was getting expensive.
Lots of licenses. You know, we have 3 different licenses: one for a commercial kitchen, one for the truck, and then one for events. And they need to be renewed every kind of 5 or 6 months, or whenever they feel like it, really. So it's just, it's a cash.
So it's kind of good though, because there's not many. It's only people that are really taking it seriously that can make it. There's no room for cowboys, I suppose.
No. So we had no taco truck, but that didn't stop us. So yeah, this is the time where, you know, I was kind of working and I went back waitressing for my friends. They've got a restaurant in Ponsonby Central, you know, and I just did whatever we could do to try and earn a bit of money while this was still happening because we had a lot to pay for. So we thought, shit, we've got to do something. We've got to, we've got to make some tacos. So that didn't stop us. We were ready for action. I love that photo. So yeah,
it's after chopping enough onions for like 300 or 400 tacos, you'd start to get a bit sort of psychotic.
And then Barrio on Ponsonby Road. I don't know whether you've heard of it. That's our commercial kitchen because they don't really use it as a restaurant, which is great for us because everything's compact. You know, we live nearby and the truck operates on Ponsonby Road. So yeah, we did these pop-ups. This was in summer and they were really popular. We did 3. people loved it. We gave people a taste, and it made us better. We perfected our skills. We kind of honed the rest. It just doing it, practice, just made us better. So that was a really great thing.
It also got us out to like food bloggers and things like that. They
Yeah.
would come and be like, "Wow, you're going to do this food in a truck? That's brilliant!" And they
Yeah.
started, and that was when Facebook started to get a real momentum and stuff like that. Sort of interested parties, and
Yeah.
and also like on the top right, we'd booked in for a wedding because Barry, the idiot that we were talking about before, had said, "I guarantee you it'll be done by December," and then I guarantee his guarantees were not worth anything.
No.
But we'd said, look, we really need to know this person wants to book us for their wedding. Will the truck be ready? And he said, absolutely, 100% guarantee it will be ready. And it wasn't. But this was these guys' weddings, and it's like we rung up and we're like, so I'm sorry, we just don't have a truck. We can't do it. And they were like, can you do it anyway? And we're like, okay, well, without the truck, we just figured out a way of doing it. And again, it was like overcoming stuff like that. It meant so much to them. Yeah. And now they're friends. They come to the truck. They eat. They love the truck. Everyone. It was a real beautiful hipster wedding of class and style. And they had no money, but they'd done a beautiful thing, and we were part of it. It was sort of like, so there was 100 fans, boom, just like that knew that we had overcome the, they were like, where's the truck? It's like, long story, but have a taco. So it really, all doing that stuff, doing it rather than just going, well, let's just sit here and wait for the truck. That would have really killed us because people were like, well, you guys, what are we waiting for? Well, just do it. We did it.
And Facebook, was great for that. It was funny, just going back to what you said about the goalposts was shifting in time when it was going to be ready. I think I'd updated the cover photo on Facebook a million times because it was like, opening December 21st. And it was like, opening Jan. Opening mid-Feb. Opening, and then I'd slashed out Feb, and then we just put opening soon because we're like, shit, we've lied so many times. But that was another funny thing. But Facebook, wow, social media, that's just amazing for us. We couldn't survive without it. And I was saying to Eddie and Jay before, the Twitter is amazing. I'd never been a tweeterer or whatever you call it, but now our business relies on it, and people are getting hit to it, and that's it's great. But
like Instagram, it's like free advertising. Someone comes and so many people like buy a taco. It's like, it's nicer when it's hot. They're like, wait a minute, bring out their iPhone, and sort of like get a nice light. It's like take the photo, but then it's amazing because they post it on Facebook and then on Instagram and then on Twitter, and they've got followers, and it's on it. I'm quite new to the whole Twitter and Instagram thing, but it's like it's huge, and followers start following followers, and then all of a sudden hundreds of people have seen this photo of just one taco. It's like, I don't know how much that would cost.
Yeah.
But it's free.
So we did this. We got we got the brand out there. We were trying to get the brand out there, and that even made its way to England. My crazy friend. We did kids teas. We've done little baby stretch and grows, which people love, and hot sauce, which I have brought a bottle of. So I thought maybe you could pass it around and have a taste. It's very hot. But
Sarah makes it. It's habanero. Just go have a drop on the back of your hand.
It's a little eyedropper, so you can just do a little dab.
So people are coming to want to buy that from the truck now. So it's sort of like it's not just tacos. All of a sudden, it's like, we printed 200 T-shirts and thought it'll take a month or so. We'll move it. We sold 200 T-shirts in about 4 days.
Yeah.
And this was before people had actually tasted the food. It was like, oh shit, just a drop now. If you're not into hot stuff, don't try it. Don't be bravado. It's early.
It'll wake you up more than the coffee.
But it's like people really responded to that. Little kids loved it. Our little niece calls him Mr. Boney Man, which is also, it's like people,
she's cute.
Adults, kids, people really respond to it. So it's sort of that's a whole. It's funny enough. Back to advertising and marketing after all the food and stuff like that. It's like if people like this and the food, then it brings it all together, and people are like, oh, those guys are cool, and people wearing them in England, and
it's good. It's nice to say, and the celebrity endorsement by Peter Gordon there, who's been a really amazing mentor for us and a good friend, and has backed us. I remember him saying to me, your passion for food, it'll change, if you start doing it for your profession, and I know what he means by that. It's just it becomes when you have to start tallying up numbers and working out exactly how many pork tacos you're going to get out of 4 kgs of pork, and if you're not making that, or I'm being too generous or too mingy, that's hard because you just want to give people a good experience, and it's all about love, but you do have to knuckle down. It's a business at the end of the day, so I think it's just that balance of keeping that right. So, you know, wise words from him. But yeah, we got the brand out there. And then what's next? We told our story. Oh yeah, next one. So, you know, we were really, really lucky to get this. It was a friend of a friend who's the editor of Bite magazine for the New Zealand Herald. And she had seen us on, oh no, that was the wrong way around. Good Morning was after that. But we got this article and it was fantastic. We got to write it. We basically just got free and we got paid to do it, which is fantastic. And it was a really great experience for us writing this article, like once a month we were doing it. So people had read this and were then like, oh, you guys have been going for ages, and we hadn't, you know. But this was a great way to tell our story to the masses.
Every issue that came out, the next day would be like, boom, 50 more Facebook followers. And, you know, that was just like the most amazing half-page advertisement in the Herald once a month that we could write about ourselves. So we just wrote about how amazingly good we were. People were like, wow, these guys are amazingly good, because it says it in the paper.
But yeah, we've got the last segment of this story is actually out on the 8th of July. The last, the little, because people have followed it, and then finally we've got the truck. So it'll be nice to kind of wrap that story up. The Facebook, currently 2,177 friends, only 213 behind Mexico and Britomart, which I'm desperately trying to beat. Really.
That's right. Husband and wife with no money versus $1 million sort of corporation down the road. It's like, we're going to take them out.
We're going to take them out. Yeah. So, yeah, how long did it actually take? And, you know, we just went through Jade and Eddie's questions, because that was actually really helpful. And, you know, it took kind of that long. Well, it took longer, you know, and it's funny, and again, interestingly, just to see what people respond to on Facebook. People love a good makeover. Like the before and after shots, it's like, boom, 100 likes, you know, instantly. It took ages. Well, from 2011, when we were on our honeymoon and we had the idea, to now, you know, so a couple of years, you know, of slogging it. But the next photo, you know, that was it outside our house, and that's it now. And, you know, that someone put on Facebook, you know, wow, I really appreciate, I know how hard it is to go from that to that. And, you know, it was really nice that people do recognise there's a lot of hard work gone into it.
Because also, like, you have your wish, you know, it's like we go and see the guy building the truck, it's like, I designed it all, and he was like, you can't do that, and you can't do that, and you can't do that. It's like, oh, you know, it's sort of like, that doesn't even fit there, you know. I was drawing it all up, making it look nice, but it's
the drawings are good.
The drawings, you know, it looked amazing in my head. But it's all of a sudden it's like real life versus practicality, and that's where that was a big part of marrying that together as well. It's like, so the whole thing changed, and it was like we realised we needed extraction, and it's got little chimneys on the top. It's all very cute.
But, you know, it's things like when we had to get, you know, everything in that truck. There's no second-hand equipment in it. It's all brand new. I mean, we tried to, you can't cut any corners, really, and we've gotten to the point now where it's like, this is just going to be pimping, you know. But we had to get hot plates from Italy, because hot plate standards in New Zealand are 900 mils wide, and, you know, we've only got like that much room to pass each other in the truck. So we had to get 700 mil ones that were from it. I mean, and they're the best, you know, but it's just stuff, you know, again, it's not our world. We're not used to commercial kitchen fit outs. So, you know, it was learning every single day, and we had lots of help, which was great. But yeah, wow, what a mind fuck, you know, kind of thing. So, highs.
Boom.
The first day, you know, that was actually terrifying to look out onto that and see these people, because my friend came and she kind of like, oh, can I have 20 tacos? We were like, yay, we've got a customer. And by the time we'd finished making those tacos, the queue was stretched past KFC, and we shit ourselves, you know. It was like, oh my God, let's get these tacos out. But, you know, it was fantastic, and we've had queues like that, not ever since, but, you know, weather's often, you know, it's been great. Sometimes it just goes boom, and then these people just appear, and people don't mind waiting for good food, you know, which is great. So that was, you know, that was definitely one of the highs. The lows, this was, man, the low was, it was a couple of Saturdays ago, and we were doing a gig at Vic Park Market, the World Weird Night Out. It was absolutely pissing down with rain and freezing. It just started getting horrible, and the truck didn't start.
We were supposed to be there at 7. It was 6 o'clock. The truck didn't start. It was pissing down with rain.
It was bad.
I'm no mechanic. It's like, got the bonnet up.
It was awful. We had these kind of like cheap warehouse wetties on, just stood in there going, oh my God. And we phoned our mate Trev, who's a fantastic mechanic. He came to the truck, we were holding umbrellas over it. He towed us back to his garage, the toy shop on Richmond Road. I was just like, this is just not happening to us. We loaded all the food in, you know, so super wet, still kind of getting used to our systems anyway. Under the truck, 15 minutes to spare, the woman from the event's going, hey, when are you guys arriving? And I'm like, 15 minutes? You know, and I didn't even know whether we'd make it.
And like Trev's like, have you ever taken a petrol tank off a diesel truck? I was like, no. He's like, well, get under there.
You're
and,
about
you
to.
know, it's covered in diesel and shit and screwdrivers. And we got it fixed, screwed it back together and drove to the gig. And like everyone's like, oh.
I know,
Like,
but I was
no
so
idea of the
frazzled.
terrifying hour that got us there. It's sort of
But what's worse than that is we got into the car park by about 5 millimeters to spare, and I asked them to measure the height. You know, we're kind of, you know, we've got these chimneys on, blah blah blah. Managed to get in because, of course, we were laden with goodies and food. At 4 o'clock in the morning, with lots of trashed, drunken freaks, and we wanted to get out of there, and it was, you know, not fun times. All the food had been taken out, so the truck was a lot lighter.
we had lost that much weight, and we couldn't get out.
And we couldn't get out of the building. And so next minute, Odie knows a lot of these guys, 40 drunken Samoan blokes in the back of the truck to get out.
And it's like, bros, they all had to jump in and hang
And they
off
were
the
all
side.
like, wait! They all thought it was hilarious. I cried all the way home. But we got out unscathed, and that was the low so far. But back to the highs, and yeah, it's hard work, and it's stressful, and we've cried a lot, and you haven't cried.
I've cried a bit. I have to be honest.
It's just kind of, it's just tiring, physically, mentally tiring. But we're in talks at the minute with oh, you can flick back. We're in talks at the minute with a company that are really interested in our brand, and they've asked us to trademark it in Australia. So we've trademarked it here, so no one can copy it. But yeah, he's kind of like, he's really excited about it and wants to produce our drink, the horchata, which is super popular. If you've not tried it, come try it. That's the one we tried in the States, you know, and we make a really, it's delicious, it's awesome. And he's like, wow, this is fantastic, I want a piece of this. So we've been designing the bottle like vintage style glass milk bottles with, when you twist the cap, a little bit of cinnamon's released into the top because you have cinnamon on top. And so yeah, this is all really exciting stuff, and we want to build a brand. We want to get our hot sauce out there. We want to be old El Paso, but not shit. But you know, the good of that. So you know, we don't want to be working in a truck for 10 years. You know, it's a really hard graft. I don't know whether we could physically do it for longer than a year without help. So we need to start growing the brand, and the truck is the launch pad for that, I suppose. That's how we see it. That's how we see it going.
It's like, I've got a friend who owns Money Shot. I mean, it's a t-shirt, it's an apparel company. But he was like, when he saw this, he was like, you don't even need to sell food. He's like, you should just start a clothing label called the Lucky Taco. He was like, put it on hoodies and t-shirts and shot glasses. He was like, you're away, you know. So it's sort of, it's all about this and that. Because I mean, if we, you know, start to bottle our drinks, and by that I mean the truck, not the world.
Or scenic hotels.
And so the truck is out there to go and have a look. But so it's sort of, if we get to the point where we're bottling our own drinks, then the truck can become a promotional vehicle. We don't have to pay somebody to build a lucky. We can show up in our own truck, and it's not just a sort of movie set. It's actually a practical functioning kitchen that really is the birth of it. It's sort of, there's nothing insubstantial about what we're doing. It's all quite well organised, which is amazing that I'm involved. Sarah is very well organised. I'm extraordinarily flaky, so it's quite fun to be part of something that's locked down. Yeah.
Lots of remembrance.
But I've learned how to use a hot plate. I mean, that's the thing. It's like on the first day, we're like, okay, I turn around, okay, there's one wants 20 tacos. It's like, okay, 20 tacos, I can do that. And then I turn around, there's a queue of sort of 60 people. It's like, holy shit. It's like, I've only ever made sort of 20 tacos before. It's like, I guess I better learn how to use a hot plate then, you know, and now I'm really good at it, you know, 6 weeks in, you know,
Neither of
it's
us
second
have,
nature.
we've never done food on that scale, you know, for mass public. I mean, it's full on, you know, and we've got one of them which is invaluable. I mean, I've only ever done hospo when I was at uni, you know, the normal earnings cash part-time, but little things that you remember have become so valuable, and them little things you put your tickets in, like they're full of marbles and they suck up the tickets, you know, they have in kitchens. there's one of those like over the door at the back that I put the tickets up for Otis, and I'm like, keep looking up to see how many steak tacos there are.
And then you start to feel cool. You start to learn how to spin your tongs and stuff like that, and you feel like one of those cool dudes I've seen in LA trucks. I'm like, shit, that guy actually makes sort of the grunt work look really cool because he's tattooed with a slick back hair and there's some spinning tongs. It's like, wow, I'm a cool LA taco tong spinning grill guy. For the meantime.
But yeah, that concludes the presentation.
That concludes the presentation.